What's going on, everybody? We are back post game with another Saints post game show to get you in the know. Another 40-point game, another huge victory. Um, just another all around, you know, play your game and the game will happen. The Saints felt like they didn't have a lot of miscues, if any at all. Short term memory. You definitely feel like you just went out there and played your best game. Um, Dominating would be the word that I'll use because everybody said we talked about this pregame. Oh, it's just the Carolina Panthers. It's just whatever. Number one, I said it. It was a divisional game. It's important, no matter who the opponent is or how bad they are. Winning again with 40 points on the board, and not like 40 points and you gave up 39. The Saints won 44 to 19, 25-point deficit by the Dallas Cowboys, who put up 33 last week. And just really, you almost take 3 points away from it just because they had that fumble where big man should have just fell. He tried to pick it up, didn't work out. Saints could have prevented a field goal there and possibly put up more points. Who knows? But either way, dominating is the word that I use because, like I said, you just don't see big wins like that in back-to-back weeks. We even talked about it last week in the post-game show. We had that game last season where we put up 47 against the Falcons towards the end of the season. But these wins just feel different. It feels like the teams they're vibing. They're showing a lot of personality. They're showing just a lot of things that I don't think we saw from them last year. They look like they're having fun. Winning cures all. It's something that you'll hear in sports pretty often, and it's definitely true in this instance because when you put up 88 points in 2 weeks, 44 and 40, and everybody was like, well, you put up 40 against the Panthers. Like, yeah, we put up 40 against the Panthers, but just for you guys, those folks, we turned around and put up, uh, 44 against the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty good defense, in case you didn't know. So fun to watch, fun to see. It definitely feels like this team is putting some things together that matter. New offensive coordinator has breathed new life into a lot of the players. It seems. So yeah, that was exciting. Great win. Let's dive into some of the details. So obviously, you can't go without talking about the fact that Alvin Kamara, three rushing touchdowns, one receiving touchdown. Um, yeah, I mean, the guy's a guy, right? Like he said he didn't want to talk contract until the season was over. He's out here proving his point. Some people said he was washed. Some people said that he wasn't worth it. Some people said this and that. We had some conversations and we were trying to compare Saints players to NBA players, Pelican players, right? And mine was AK to Brandon Ingram. It's no coincidence that the numbers are backwards for each other, 41 or 14. But I just feel like a lot of people forgot how good he was, and that's something that happens. Like I said, in football, you have short term memory, right? What have you done for me lately? Kind of logic, but yeah, no, I just feel like if you would have told me week 2 that Jake Haener would be handing the ball off to Jamal Williams, I'd have a lot of questions. I'd be pretty concerned about that. So really cool to see what's going on with this team right now. They're really putting a lot of things together, and it's awesome to watch. Awesome to be a fan of right now. So without saying much about the defense, the defense was lights out. Dak Prescott. I think they said it's the first time he threw multiple interceptions in his last 14 games or something like that. And they put up some numbers, right? I mean, Dak Prescott threw for almost 300 yards. It was crazy to think, but all things considered, Dallas Cowboys moved the ball. The Saints defense did what the Saints defense does best, and it's bend but don't break, right? You keep going, you keep doing what you have to do. You make stops when you need to make them, and you give your offense the ball back. The Saints. The only thing that I would say about the defense is it feels like the defense still does not quite have their footing. It still feels like the defensive line does not have their footing. It still feels like they're missing something. Chase Young was lining up way on the outside a couple of times. I don't know if that was maybe him trying to not overrun the play a lot, like we talked about in the pregame. But either way, that secondary is just monstrous. Adebo had some early penalties, but he he turned it around, right? 45-yard pick return for you can't ask for much better. It's a part of the Dennis Allen identity to just be handsy. They obviously got a Debo a couple times, but you know maybe they went into the halftime and made adjustments because you didn't see it again. Maybe Dennis Allen just told Debo to keep his hands to himself. We're up big. That's just let the defense do what it does. But either way, they stopped calling that. He got that interception, and that was kind of it. Didn't really see too much from that anymore after that. But um, for just a quick shout out for all three sides here. We have the offense player of the game has to be Alvin Kamara. I mean, when you score 4 touchdowns in one game and you're not a quarterback, that's pretty exceptional. You don't see that very often. His personal record is 6 Christmas Day a couple of years back. So I know towards the end of the game there, they were trying to get him the ball when the Cowboys did turnover on downs inside the 20. Didn't quite work out, which is fine. Winded up just running in the clock and getting some action for Groupie to get that kick in there, but that works. And then for the defensive side of the ball, it's a tough one, but I'll say that for me it was a tie between Tyrann Mathieu and probably Carl Granderson, and I want to give it to Tyrann just because he had that whiff, right? And that was something that was just like, man, like CD, you just ducked under him, you just missed him. But nonetheless, after that, it feels like Tyron, Demario, these guys are like returning to form, right? They're playing like they're 26 years old and not in their 30s. So that's great to see. And the reason I say Carl Granderson is because, like I said, that Saints D line just does not feel like it has its footing yet. And so with Carl Granderson getting back there, getting 1.5 sacks just feels really good. You keep that momentum up, you keep that rolling, and you'll be good to go. And then, I mentioned special teams in the pregame show. I do think they're important. I do think it's crucial. We didn't need them a whole lot. So, as much as I'd like to give the special teams nod to Blake Groupie, I'm actually going to give it to Hayball because to stay ready and to just sit on the bench the entire game and come in the fourth quarter as a young guy who just got the job 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. He was ready. Went out there, did a hell of a punt, put it inside the 20. So if this game was crucial, that'd have been a phenomenal kick. I think Groupie also missed an extra point, which is tough to forgive because it feels like a gimme most of the time. I know they changed the rules, so it's not quite a gimme, but nonetheless, like I said, special teams, my go-to guys, Matthew Hayball. We didn't get a whole lot of kickoff and punt coverage, so didn't really see much action on special teams. So, like I said, it'll go to the punter just for staying ready, getting that punt inside the 20. Because again, if this was an important game, if that was an important punt, he sat on the bench for 3.5 quarters and came out there and did exactly what he was doing in the preseason that got him the job. So NFC South picture, pretty much the same as last week, right? Tampa beat Detroit Lions 20-16. Panthers didn't quite get demolished again this week, 26-3. They lost to the Chargers. And then again, we have the Atlanta Falcons playing the Birds or the Eagles, the game of the Birds on Monday Night Football tomorrow. So that should be an interesting, turn of the tides. The Falcons are a team, like I said in the pregame, a lot of folks gave them credit early. They could still, put some things together. Kirk Cousins is still, a professional quarterback for a reason. There's a reason the Atlanta Falcons wanted to go get him. So time will tell. Personally, I never would have thought Baker Mayfield would be, having the kind of resurgence of his career over there in Tampa. But props to him. Props for Tampa. They're 2-0. Saints are also 2-0. The Carolina Panthers are 0-2, and the Falcons will hopefully be 0-2 as well come Monday night. But the Saints NFC South picture, like I said earlier, we're really not going to see a whole lot of movement right now just because, you have only 2 games, week 2, no bye weeks yet, only a couple of divisional matchups across the NFL total. But I guess, good or bad news, however you want to word it, we see the Buccaneers about midway through October. So we got another month or so before we see the Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers play the Falcons and then the Saints back to back weeks in October. So that could really be a good time for, if the Falcons are still winless, still not playing great football. It would be great for them to beat the Buccaneers and send them on to us and just put some distance between us, as in the Buccaneers. I mean, we play the Falcons a little bit earlier than that. We have Falcons in 2 weeks here, so we're seeing a little bit of back-to-back bird action. We have Eagles and then the Falcons. So either way, tough slate of games coming up. You have the Eagles, who they're possibly figuring some things out, possibly not. There was a couple of instances in that game last week, where the Packers and Eagles, it kind of looked sloppy, kind of looked interesting. You know, not quite great football play that game, but either way, they are still, a threat. Jalen Hurts is always going to be a problem. He runs around, he moves, which historically has been a problem for this defense. So it'll be interesting to see how he match up against them. Have the Falcons again, even if they're winless, the Falcons always play us with a certain amount of intensity. Chiefs and Buccaneers. So, like I said, a tough couple of games coming up that we, definitely need to win. Just because two divisional games, we have to win those divisional games in order to push us over the edge, and actually get it rolling. That way, we can, you know, play football, play our game, win games, and do what we got to do. So, rest of the NFL slate today, not a like I said earlier, the games today really, you got the Sunday night football game, Chicago and Houston both 1-0. Cincinnati possibly turns around against KC, and then Pittsburgh and Denver. So again, if you want to watch Sean Payton, he'll be out there again, but I think the Cincinnati and Kansas City game will be a little more exciting. And then you also have going on right now. Looks like the Rams and the Cardinals, but that Chicago and Houston game should be interesting. Two young guys, two young quarterbacks. Should be fun. So yeah. Other than that, bets. I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember what bets we called for anytime touchdown score, but I did tell you to go make some money and get that 100% profit boost for straight bet money line for the Saints, because I felt like we were going to win. Saints won, so if you did that, congratulations. Again, I don't exactly remember. I think I said Taysom, maybe. I don't know. Anytime touchdown score definitely did not hit, but the money line for the Saints did hit. So hopefully you followed that advice at least. But other than that, thanks for tuning in. This has been the Saints post game show to get you in the know. We will be live every week before and after Saints game as well. Make sure you tune in to that Saints pod. It is on our YouTube channel. Go to just www.youtube.com/@beintheknow, and you will find it there. We also post it on our feeds. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, The Know, or Be in the Know for social handles. Check us out, and www.theknow.com for all content. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.